So Bethesda released a new emote for players to say sorry to each other, and this is what it looks like. Righto. G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Junkies plasma caster with plus 10% damage whilst aiming and plus 1 perception, major and minor legendary effects respectively. So this is a plasma caster that I've done a few times recently. I had an instigating one and a bloodied one. Let's go Junkie. So we're going to get that full health 50% damage bonus out of this, and we'll see how we go. We're getting 76 ballistic energy damage first off, completely unspec'd, so let's go ahead and fix some of these perks on. You'll notice in the build how I've got lock and load at full rank and just bandolier, because I could chuck on something like bullet shield, but I'm not going to be holding down the trigger on this, so it'd be kind of useless, and we're going to be in power armor, and I guess that extra 20% DR would be pretty terrible. Not reduction resistance. That's a very important thing to understand there. So we've just grabbed the ranker blocker instead, so if we get punched, it's going to take... they're going to give us less damage. Bloody Mess goes on. We've also got Critical Savvy because we can't really use the one-gun army to very good effect, because a 12% chance probably isn't going to do much when we're going to be 1 or 2-shotting most enemies anyway, so we don't have to worry about staggering our targets or crippling any limbs, unless they're a Scorched beast, which I might consider using, but I think Critical Savvy is better because we can just basically double our hit, our critical generation rate. And we've also got Gun Fu, so if we do decide to use this thing in VATS, we can switch targets quickly and get extra damage, up to 30% at rank 3, which is good. And to offset the AP drain, I've just got Action Girl for the AP regeneration. Stabilize, Nerd Rage is there if I get into a low health situation. Adrenal Reaction and Nerd Rage will boost this thing considerably, which is good for damage output, but we'll see how we go as is. Now we're doing 140 and 140. That's pretty decent, I guess. Let's get drugged here. There we go. I'm gonna not do the day tripper because that might not be enough. Oh, wow, I didn't actually eat enough mentats. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. And a bunch of psycho. Is it the psycho addiction? Was it there? No, hang on, I need to pop some more. All of this would probably kill you if you try to do this much drugs in real life, so don't do it, kids. And yep, there's all of my addictions. And now, with that extra 50% on, we're doing 237 and 237. If only it was one more, it would have been a reference to uranium at 238. That's the, for those of you who don't know, that's the refined uranium type that they probably put in atom bombs. Okay, welcome to Camp Navarro. I've got my uniform. It's not exactly Enclave Advanced Combat Power Armor, but it's cool Ultrasight Power Armor. It's got the Atomic Onslaught paint, which is from the Legendary run. It is Strangleheart underneath, so just so you know. And yes, despite me having many addictions, as you can tell, my special stats in terms of perception and agility are still good. That extra agility point I get from my plasma caster is there, but also I've got a sensing helmet, headpiece. It's somewhere around here. It's probably down here because S is kind of late on the alphabet. That gives me plus 2 perception, which is good for VATS accuracy. So, you know, we're set up to use VATS as well as just kind of tank a little bit. Now, keep in mind that this is, you know, again, after the health regeneration bug has been nixed from the game, so we're going to have to watch our health bar a little bit. We can't expect the emergency protocols to save us anymore, because you take such little damage that you just have the health bar it'll just jump back up. So, you know, you wouldn't take any damage. You're basically immortal, unless you picked up some sort of damage over time. Speaking of damage over time, we give our enemies that now, which is funny. And with the extra adrenaline that we're gaining out of these guys, and the adrenal reaction as we're taking slightly more damage, we can kill these guys fairly easily now. If we hit them in the head, it's a headshot, and it kills them. I mean, obviously it's a headshot if we hit them in the head, but if we do it properly, we get the double damage from the headshot and kill them in one shot. Without using VATS, you can still do it. 343, and the damage was only 210 before. I was buffed on Psycho when I showed you that, so, you know, take that into consideration. So one of the things about using a plasma caster is its spread is actually kind of high. Even with stabilized and sitting completely still, crouching while shooting, It's not like aiming down sights does anything at all, to be honest. You might as well barely even do anything. And aiming down sights in first person is even worse idea. Luckily, they still give you the crosshair in first person, because honestly, these sights are just terrible. You'd have no idea what the hell you're shooting at. Yes, but with stabilized, it makes it slightly easier nailing those shots from targets that are far away. It's a very useful perk, and although we're not getting the total benefits out of the armor penetration due to only half of this thing's damage being of the ballistic variety, well, actually more than half, we'll get to why in a second, but you know, it's still pretty decent. We're still getting a little bit of armor penetration from this portion of damage, which boosts our damage, you know, slightly. These guys aren't exactly not tanky. Okay, so we're on the inside now, and I just shot at a vat of FEV unnecessarily. Classic third-person camera. I keep messing up third and first person all the time. You've already howled once, doggo. Shut the fuck up. So, yeah, I'd actually prefer this weapon not to have any energy damage attached to it at all. Excuse me. We might as well just hip-fire this thing in first person, I reckon. Yes. And hopefully we don't crash when we get the score update there, because, you know, I had to restart the recording here because the game crashed, and, you know, I couldn't pick it up from there. We had to restart. And there you go, a little bit of action from lock and load, making that reload faster, so that guy was shooting me for less time. Didn't help that I whiffed that first shot against him, though. Oh well, that's okay. We've still got 40% health left, which means our adrenal reaction should be propping right up now, and if we nail headshots at our enemies, then we'll be in good shape. I don't know about you, but I feel more comfortable aiming this thing in third person. Maybe it's because I can see around me more. Maybe it's just because of nuclear winter. I always play in third person, and if you aren't playing in third person in nuclear winter, then you're signing your own death warrant. There we go, that's what we wanted to see. The big old 1k damage in the noggin. Now, I haven't actually used this thing in VATS yet, and we're almost at Nerd Rage threshold at this point, so we might get away with actually hitting these guys in the torso and killing them instantly, which would certainly be good if we did. Maybe when we are in Nerd Rage, we'd get close. Perhaps we'd need Nerd Rage and Gunfu and multiple targets. Oh, come on, game. To see that work. Okay, so we are in Nerd Rage now. And yep, we definitely do have enough damage to one-shot these guys with torso shots, which is great because aiming for center mass is tactically a better thing to do because, you know, you're more likely to hit like that. So another thing about the plasma caster that I've noted before, but it's worth noting again, is its giant basketball plasma projectiles. Sometimes you'll just hit the scenery, and you saw it just there, which is kind of frustrating. I mean, when you compare this weapon to the likes of the Gatling gun, they're very similar in their functionality. They're both the big, heavy-hitting, slow-firing weapons, but the ballisticness of the Gatling gun versus its actual bullet projectiles that don't get caught up on scenery or do that, there's some weird camera angles happening here. So yeah, I find this weapon to be a little bit inconsistent. I think the longer barrel kind of screws it over here. Excuse me, I thought we were done. Nice drop, by the way. Could at least give me a 3-star variant for script, could ya? Bastard. Okay, we'll stay around this low health because in addition to giving you better damage, Nerd Rage does actually increase your AP regeneration, which is useful if you want to smash out VATS. There we go. And luckily for me, these ghouls don't seem to give a shit anymore, so I can probably get away with playing this pretty cool. Don't have to worry about being punched in the face too much from these ghouls, so that's good. We'll just pop a reload whilst we've got nothing in our way, and we'll let those AP come back by not sprinting, and just like we saw before, a torso shot will pretty much nail these guys every time. And I've got a capacitor of the calibrated variety, so whenever I do a critical, it's doing slightly more damage. I'm not exactly sure how much. I want to say 33% more, but that could be wrong. I'm not a data miner, and nor do I want to boot up F76 edit, because I don't like using that software. If I'm modding anything, I'm using the creation kit. I'm not a fucking inbred, you know? Oh my god, I fucking love the creation kit. If we ever get plugin support for Fallout 76, I'm going to find out every single fucking thing ever this game using the creation kit. It's so fucking good. I want creation kit to have my babies. That's how much I love the creation kit. Also, I never usually pay attention to these rad roaches, but today they're getting their asses kicked. Oh my god, I hit him for a staggering 23 damage on the bash. Probably not the best idea to hit a dude with a unstable energy weapon like this. It'd probably explode on you. So yeah, don't do that. Gun bashing in this game is fucking garbage anyway. There's no reason to ever do it. Also, that projectile just kind of... Wait, what? Oh, okay. Hang on a second. So if I want to get this rad stag... What is this camera doing? I don't know what was going on there. If you look down, aim back up, and then... Yeah, it just kind of pushes your muzzle down before you fire? What? Okay. Weird bug hours here. We're discovering some bugs. I wonder if I'll get any comments here and there about how I'm running junkies as a low health build instead of full health, and people telling me that I'm doing it wrong. I mean, it just kind of shows you how pointless junkies is, because I could be getting better damage at this health level with a bladed weapon, and I wouldn't have to worry about all of the stat debuffs. So, where's the laser gun guy? Not here, apparently. I must have blew him up before. This must have been him. I think it was a critical. He should have been a goo pile by now. Hey, that's another thing. Did the goo pile still stop despawning? Because I haven't been in a public server in that long, so I don't have to worry about other players messing up my experience. You know, people always like to shit on Fallout first, but it's been the best fucking investment for me. Anyways, moving on. There's this one over there. 2400 damage in the noggin with a sneak critical. That's not too bad. That's not even Nerd Rage activated either. You know, I still haven't got the prime receiver for one of these. I was planning to queen test the bloodied one at some point, the one with bash damage, but I feel like I'll need something a little bit more than just plain old bloodied, you know? Extra crit damage would be a godsend, I reckon. Faster reload speed would be nice too. I wouldn't even mind an extra fire rate, just boosting that DPS ever so slightly more, because, you know, when competing with bash damage, basically anything else seems better by comparison. If I got the hiccups during recording, man, this weapon is cursed. First, I get the games crashing. I don't think I'm hiccuping, it's fine. No need to panic. Okay. It's just a war of being staggered there. Luckily, I've got the better projectiles in this situation. Well, actually, if I had a weapon that fired projectiles that were the same as Milo King, I'd probably do a lot more damage, because they probably don't even have them spec'd. Goddamn food build milk drinkers or something. Okay, if you hear any rain in the background, it's because it's raining, would you believe. Also, these guys, I've been sent to clear these guys out for the copper squatter. So is that 2 days in a row we've had a copper squatter where a cranberry bog combat place is? Okay, so this is where you'll find the VATS portion of your plasma casters valuable. Also, we're gonna get some, yes, right on time. Just some cannon fodder to keep us busy whilst the Scorched beast just kind of flies over there. No vibing in my private server, mate. That's right, sit down. I'll get this reload whilst you're regenerating, and we'll find your head, and we get over 1,000 damage. But apparently that damage didn't count for nothing. Righto. And another one conveniently spawns directly behind him, and we can't use VATS because we're out of AP. We're not really optimized for outside of VATS or inside of VATS. We're kind of optimized for just for basic damage output here and accuracy over range, which is kind of important for this thing, but range gameplay is never going to be good enough with this thing as compared to something like a, again, I'm going to draw comparisons to the Gatling gun here because they are functionally similar weapons, but the Gatling gun is a lot more consistent at range because it fires a hit scan projectile. And if you don't know what hit scan means, well, you're a fucking idiot. No, it just basically means that the bullets teleport to your target as soon as you pull the trigger. They move at the speed of light. Also, I'm over capacity. I reckon I got needle spine for being too close to a Mirelurk King. That may have been showed up on the thing already, but I must have missed it. No, it's the blight. Okay, so that's recent then. Lousy Scorched beast diseases. We might pull one out of here. We'll see what happens if we do. Nope. That's it for today. And I think that'll be it for the Junkies Plasma Caster. It's decent. And I realize I haven't been making too much use out of the aiming down sights feature, but plus 10% damage on that. Pretty damn decent. See, with these weapons that hit a lot harder, you'll find that the extra 10% does a lot more in like multiplicatively added onto the weapon's base damage, which is great. And if you don't think that 10% is a lot, you know, it may not seem like a lot, but you got to remember that that's like a entire rifleman perk or gunslinger or whatever the fucking weapon type you're using. So it's a little bit more significant than what you think. So if you actually wanted to save a perk here and there, or two actually, 2 perk points, you can just aim down sights and get the damage that you would have gotten without with the perks on, but then you've got space for 2 more perks here and there. But if you want to maximize damage output, an extra 10% damage is pretty damn decent. If all you need to do is aim down sights, there's no real downsides to that unless you're using a fat man, which why would you, or a broadsider, because they don't work in general. You might as well shove that in a script bin. Speaking of a script bin, this plasma caster might go into it. I'd actually palm it off, but you can't trade these things because Bethesda are like, no dupers, these new weapons are for gold people only. Thank you for watching, guys.